Today I'm going to show you how to make an aggressive Frenchcore kick inside Serum 2. And the important thing here is, Frenchcore kicks are not just distorted gabber kicks. They need a punch, a tail, a tone, and movement working together. So let's build one from scratch. I'm starting from the init preset. First, I move the wavetable position very low, around position 2. Then I bring the level all the way down, and I also turn the random all the way down to 0. I want the kick to hit the same every single time. Now I create my first LFO in envelope mode. This one is going down really fast, and I map it to the coarse pitch. This is what creates that hard pitch drop at the beginning of the kick. That first pitch movement is basically the punch. After that, I create another LFO, also in envelope mode. This one goes to the level, and I shape it more like an actual kick envelope. So now we're not just holding a note, we're creating the actual hit. Then I go into the matrix and change the pitch modulation to unipolar. This gives me more control over how the pitch envelope is reacting. Now I create a third LFO. I map this one to the coarse pitch again, but this time I'm also using it very slightly on the main tuning. Not too much. Just enough to give the kick a little bit more movement and tone. This is where it starts feeling less like a basic distorted kick and more like a Frenchcore kick. Now I turn on oscillator B. I turn the random all the way down again, bring the level all the way down, and create a new envelope for it. This oscillator is going to help create the tail of the kick. So I map the envelope to the level and shape it slower than the punch. The punch hits first, the tail comes after. That separation is really important. If everything hits at the same time, the kick just gets messy. Then I turn on oscillator C. Again, random all the way down, level all the way down. For this one, I'm using a more vocal sounding wavetable. This adds a little bit of that talking texture in the tail. Then I create another envelope just for oscillator C and map it to the level. So now every oscillator has its own job. Oscillator A gives the punch. Oscillator B gives the body and tail. Oscillator C adds that aggressive character on top. Now we go into the effects. First, I add an all passes filter. I lower the mix a little bit, and I push the resonance. This starts adding that phasey movement and gives the kick more character. Then I add chorus. But I'm not trying to make the whole kick super wide. I bring the depth down, bring the rate down, and use the high pass filter inside the chorus. So the stereo movement mostly stays away from the low end. After that, I add soft saturation. I push the drive pretty hard, around 90%. This is where the kick starts getting more aggressive, but the goal is not just to destroy it. The goal is to make the harmonics come forward. Then I add an EQ. I'm cutting around 280 Hz with a very narrow Q. This cleans up that boxy area that can make the kick sound muddy. After that, I add multiband compression. I bring the threshold down and push the gain up. This helps tighten everything and bring the kick forward. Then I add another saturation stage, this time with overdrive, and I push the drive around 80%. Now the tail starts getting that harder Frenchcore texture. After that, I add another multiband compressor. I bring the threshold all the way down, push the lows, push the below a little bit. Then I add soft clipping. I push it around 80%. This is what gives the kick that final pressure. And finally, I add utility. I keep the bass mono around 200 Hz. Now for the last movement trick. I create one more LFO and map it very slightly to the wavetable position. And this is the part I love about Serum 2. Once the structure is built, you can create a lot of different aggressive kicks just by changing the tone, the movement, and the distortion. This is the same idea behind the KROSPER Serum 2 Vault. It's not just a bunch of random presets. It's built for hard techno, Frenchcore, industrial kicks, screeches, rave sounds, and aggressive sound design that actually works in drops. So to check out the Serum 2 Vault, the link is below. And the Ultimate Bundle is there too, with the full KROSPER system. Now let's hear the kicks. That's how you turn sound into power.